We're actually going to start in a different spot today. We're going to start in our browser to remind ourselves what we did on Saturday. So let me switch over there. All right. So you may have remembered that we're doing this Haranir build that is based on the challenge in the Wowkea Discord for March. And so that challenges us to build one room that is modeled off of the Haranir culture. And you may be saying to yourself, Ard, what if I want to do this, but I don't want to go take all these inspiration screenshots and run around like you did on Saturday? And I say to that, excellent, because Cottage Wizard has you covered. Cottage Wizard is a creator in the housing community. She's amazing. She has her own YouTube channel with tons of tutorials, but she also has her own website, which has this section called Style Sheets. And what she does here is she goes out and does all this recon for you and then comes back and gives you screenshots to tell you kind of the unique things she found in those spaces to help you build in that style. So if you're interested in building within the style of Warcraft, she has you covered. And she just released the Haranir style cards on Sunday, so they're now available. She has screenshots of a lot of the same things that I went and took screenshots of and highlighted very similar things about the builds. So in much more depth and uh, detail than I did. So she's an excellent resource for housing. Highly recommend, um, especially if you aren't sure how to like dissect what a design is for the race that you're trying to recreate. This is excellent. She goes through and tells you what color schemes work, what does and doesn't fit in here. So this last one about the Rutani, right? They have all those strawberry shortcake colored things, and she's like, that's really Rutani based and not uh, Haranir per se. The Haranir has much more saturated, bright colors. So these are often things that do I do like almost subconsciously is think about these things. So it's really nice that she pulls them out and is able to articulate them uh, much better than I can, honestly, in a stream. Yeah, Bree, um, she has some really good notes in here. And I thought it was funny that we took pictures of some of the very same things. She did get the hanging bed. I had forgotten to grab a picture of one of those. And then she got the same like petals in the entrance that we were looking at on Saturday. So yeah. As a reminder, here's some of the screenshots we took, which you'll see very similar to what what she was also pointing out. So you can do this kind of work on your own, but if it's not something you enjoy, you do not have to. Cottage Wizard will help a ton with understanding the language of design in World of Warcraft. And her disclaimer is she's just a fan. This is not official. So keep that in mind. But she does a really good job with it. So definitely check that out. All right, let's go back to the game. All right, so she has an excellent eye. She does. She does. She catches a lot of details and she captures a lot of details in her builds as well. So check out her YouTube channel because she she will walk you through what she does on those builds and makes them very easy to recreate. So, um, she also just has very good tips about things to think about as you build, and uh, ways that you can incorporate your own style into them. So definitely give her a watch. One thing to note, if you get that up to level 9 on your house, level 9 is currently the max, and the way that it shows up, it has the same amount of XP as level 8. So it looks like you're fully through level 9, you're not. It's just that they haven't actually added the correct amount of XP to make it through level 9 to level 10. So this is what it looks like in there. So you can see level 8. Oh, maybe you can't see level 8. Come on, guys, show. Well, this is the same 12,900 as level 8. So uh, that will update, I'm sure. Once they add level 10, this will, I'm sure, get more XP required to get to that level. So, but level 10 is coming soon. Yes, the endless lumber grind. We love it. Also, this I would really love the sort feature to work for date added for when I add things, not when Blizzard added things. Because it puts stuff in weird places. Like here's my prey stuff, which apparently Blizzard added to the game before they added the clusters. um, so yeah, it's just hard to find stuff, like the crafted stuff in particular. Very hard to find. Let's talk about this for a hot minute. So there's a new Zillow for Warcraft kind of hidden reward. So when you go over there, let's go take a peek here. Go back over here. Zillow for Warcraft.com. You can just click on any featured home, right? And take a peek around. I had to actually like click into some of these photos. But once you do that and go back out to the search, there should be an ad that shows up. Here's one. Discover wolf-friendly dens today. If you click on these, it will take you. That one is about midnight. So there's one that we're looking for that's about um, flowers. So we're going to keep clicking around until we get the right ad here. Oh, that's cute. New list. It might not show this because I already have it. Hmm, that may be a thing. Um, but there is a guy who has greenery as an ad, and he will allow you to click on the on the option to get them. Yeah, because I already got it, Bree. I don't think it'll show up. It showed up right away for me last time. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Greener's Plant Nursery. So you can see the plants here. You click on free sample, and that's it. You found a secret, and you get this lovely vase of flowers for it. So uh, yeah, it's totally worth going in doing that. If you disconnected your Warcraft account, it will reconnect it to Zillow, so you have to go back in and disconnect again. Um, but yeah, very cute. Uh, this this little pot is an excellent color to go with the stuff that is like already Alliance blue. Like look at it with the mat here. They match perfectly. So yeah. Thanks, Brie. And my guess is that you can now buy these from the Naru in Stormwind, or will be able to once you have them. But generally, that promotional vendor in Stormwind is the one that will have those after you get the first one. All right, let's go back to our secret room here. All right, so I took out the long hallways because I wasn't sure what we were going to need here, but I am certain we're going to need a bigger space than that. So let's go in and look at our blueprints. So we're out here. I can't put an octagon here because this room is in the way. But I could potentially put one right off the tiny square that we're using on the other side of the closet. Let's see how that looks. Let's look at this. So as a reminder, let's go back here. What we want to build is that kind of double layer cave. So we have a screenshot in here somewhere of what that looked like inside. I loaded these into the browser so it would be easy to show them, and now finding the one I want is the hard part. Ah, here it is. Okay. So from the outside, right, you see the cave entrance is like a big tree, big wood, and then it goes into this like dirt tree kind of area with a split, one going up and one going down. So I think we're going to need, in order to recreate this like roundness of these rooms, I think we're going to need to use the octagon. And I think it's going to have to be pretty big in order to get both levels. When we have ads starting in 1 minute here, so I will be sure to wait on doing any decorating. Um, let's see if this will let us add a large octagon. It sure will. All right, I think that's where we're going to start. When we get back from break, we will start the build. Break should be 1.5 minutes, so not long at all. This is new because we got to affiliate level. So thank you all for that. Apologies that we now have to endure ads. It will only be twice per hour. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. See you in a little bit here. All right, welcome back. So, I've added the large octagon room. Here's our secret entrance from the closet. And the other day I was building up the floor in here because I knew we were gonna need some height to get to that, like to be able to do the split. Don't need a ton of height here, but because we're coming from the secret room, we can add a little bit and it should not be a problem. Because we can move this as needed as well, because that's all within our control. So if I wanted to, I could just pop these up even more. Generally with my builds, I do structure first, and then come through and do what I call staging, which is all of the small details. Sometimes I get bored with structure and will start on details before I'm completely done, but I try not to do that. So all we have to do is make sure that if we're coming through the secret entrance at any speed, that we are not stopped by that raised bit, which we are not. So that is definitely a level that works. We are going to, portal is in the way. We are going to probably round this out in some way. We're going to try at least. I'm still in RP walk. First thing we want to do though is we need some height here so that we can create those two levels. There is a way to do this without having a 2-floor room. And that is to go in and change this to generic. We're going to want that anyhow. I'm going to go with stone since this is going to be mostly stone. So we're going to go through and do all of that. You see our ceiling has changed now. And in this room, you can do a vaulted ceiling. So if you do the vault with generic, you get a significant amount of lift across the whole ceiling. So for example, if we were doing that's not the one I wanted to change. Although I may keep that. If we were doing the folk, you get the lift toward the center, but you have these big beams obviously going in. If you were to do the Belemith, you get the Rudy things, which maybe we want to use, maybe not. We're going to start though with generic because that gives us a nice palette that's nice and even to work from. So it was on wood beams. Again, this is a natural space, not like a man-made space. So we definitely want something that is not necessarily look like it's been milled or cut down. So we don't want the meat ceiling. We don't want blood marble. So it's probably gonna be the wood panel, most likely. That's beam. This is heartwood. That's the purple. Again, it looks like it's been manufactured. So we're gonna go with the wood panel. Which means if I want to, I could go all the way around with that wood panel. There is, I don't think there's a, yeah, this looks milled again. So I think flagstone is what we're going to keep right now for the floor. So now we have this little bit of a lip here. So I'm going back, looking at that screenshot we took of the entrance, right? So there's like, maybe this far in is where the split is. So I'm going to put a pillar here so that I have a visual indication of like, here's my split. This will come out later, most likely, unless I bury it, which I might. So let's grab something that can easily be hidden. Put this right here. Now if I step back, Yeah, I would say that's probably about right. So what we want is this side goes down and this side goes up, or at least the side feels like it goes down, right? Uh, and then we want to try and round things out here a bit. I think that I don't want to say easiest way to do this, but the most economical way to do this is probably going to be to use boulders. Um, and I say this because every wood flooring item that we have has some kind of like plank or grain or otherwise looks like it's been manufactured, right? Let's we can take a look at these again. So um we have this one, the rough Orgrimmar one. We have the Belemeth, which also is a planked one. Whoop. Hit auto run instead of escape. Okay. Um, we have the marble. We're definitely not doing that. The Stormwind one also planks. So I don't think we're going to be able to use these as our structural base. There are some tree-like objects. For example, this one, right? That we could use like around our entrance, potentially, but it's not something. Number one, it's expensive. It costs resources from Broken Isles. Um, but also it's not quite the right color, right? The color that we're aiming for is this kind of like sandy color. We're not going to get there. Um, with some mossiness, some plants around it. So I think what we're going to try and do is this out exterior part will be closer to that color. And I think I can do that with this type of trellis here. Let's see. I'm gonna increase the size of that and I'm gonna rotate that. I just realized that I am not in the right thingy because I don't have ADT on and I need that for my rotations. Drink your water. You may also note that there are now things you can do with channel points in this channel. And you passively get channel points just for watching. One of them is a hydration check. So if you also need that on occasion, please join me in a hydration check. All right, let's see here. We want to rotate. Let's do this. Let's chew. Yeah. See, now we have our wood grain that can help us build that shape that we want. We're gonna have to use a few of these to get like around the edge, but we can do it. We can make that happen. We are also going to have to obviously cover the trellis part, but I also think we can make that happen. So yeah, we're going to need a few of those. I think I have 3 to start with. Which will get us at least the top of this bad boy. That trellis piece may be an issue. We'll see. I am not showing you the game. There we go. So this may be an option. Other options include our actual trees. So we have some trees here. That needs to be in the other room so I can rotate it. right? This is the right color. It has the wood grain. Once again, like the problem is going to be covering up that gigantic tree, right? Which might actually not be terrible because potentially we could use some of that greenery in the cave. Uh, what else we got here? I think that's the one with the right color. I don't think the acacia is going to work in this case. Maybe. Not quite like it's a little got conical on the end. So it's not as flat as the others, but obviously it hides the foliage better than the others. So maybe, maybe that could be an option as well. Any others that you can think of? A good way to do this is to go over. Let's go back over here. Let's look at WowDB because that allows us to search by color. So we're going to say wood because there's going to be lots of stuff that shows up. We're going to hit like this color. All right, my buds. There we go. These, like everything in those color families probably. Oh, the tub. Hmm. Intriguing. So you can go through and look at what's in here. You can also break them down even farther. In this case, I want to look at quite a selection of items because I don't know exactly what's going to work here, and this may help me think of something I didn't think of, like the tub. So we can try the tub. This also allows you to go in here and you can view the 3D model. So if you're like, will the bottom of that tub look right? Yeah, actually we can make that work. Yeah. So this is a very handy site. This is also a place where I have my decor list captured so that when I create builds in here, I have access to all my things. It also allows me to see what I have and have not collected so far. So we're just taking a look. Again, we don't want anything too square or anything that feels like it's been um like we don't want nails and stuff. Um the small wooden stool is small even at 200%, so that's not really going to be a good candidate. Um hmm, hmm. What does the bottom of this look like? So the top obviously has some nails and planks, so that's not going to work. But the bottom does have a wood grain that's close to the color we're looking at. So I'm going to make a list here of things to try. So we tried the trellis, that worked. Going to be hard to cover. The acacia was good. It had the conical end. So we're going to try the tub and the coffin and see how those look. Those potentially would be a lot easier to cover because they're even at 200% are not going to intrude as much into the room. Protrude as much into the room. See what else we got here that might perhaps work. I don't have the stool yet. Again, stools are usually quite small, but this does remind me I have that planter. Um, that that maybe we could try that. I don't know what the bottom of that looks like. We'll check. Because the top won't work. I don't think because it's got like a lip around it, so it would look kind of weird. But the bottom might work. Let's see here. Will anything else be good for us? Not in this list, I don't think. You can also just search for null, and it will search on any of the other filters that you have. So if I wanted to say anything in the large or furnishings or nature categories, let's go with furnishings and these colors, it will show me everything. Oh, I wonder if this is a good candidate for this crappy old bookcase. Maybe, maybe. It's always good to have a notepad around so you can take notes about stuff you might want to try. Yeah, Brie, I think that one is, considering it's not good as a bookcase, we may have found a use for that. Yeah, it does look more natural. Yes. Yeah. Let's see here. So we also have the coffin lid, which right has the design on one side. But yeah, just a plain kind of weathered um, wood on the other side. So it's not quite the color we want, but we can try it. So, as a reminder, the underground tables do not have texture on the bottom. So that it's also very smooth um, and ovoid. So it would not work quite as well, I don't think. Let's see if we can find that planter. That's close. All these DNT ones are things that are not likely not even implemented in the game yet. And you can turn those off by looking at only the things that are in Midnight or were in early access. I am looking for that planter that we got. I was like, what am I hearing? And then I remembered we're in the brewery, so I have the brewery housing music on. Let's change that to the Haranir playlist. Doo doo. There we go. Gotta get in the mood here. All right. Planter, where are you? Here it is. So see how it has this lip around the top? So that's not gonna work on that side. But, oh, this is very flat, um, nearly untextured on the underside. So not great for the purpose of what we want on the outside. Although potentially scaled up, this could give some of that like wood feel for the floor that we're looking for. Yeah, I think the bookcase is winning right now. Let's go take a peek. I actually don't know how many of those I have. I might only have one. Let's see. Let us see. Oh, I have three. All right. Wait. Oh yeah, they get quite big too. That's nice. Boots, you're thinking about Hearthstone packs to make a Hair Druid room? Yeah, and using some of the void themed items. Ooh, yeah, for your Devourer. That would be freaking cool. There's some really good void themed uh I think it was it enchanting? Um one of the professions has a bunch of really cool, might have been jewel crafting, void themed items. Like all the stuff out in Voidstorm, those little floating lanterns and the void orby thing. All right, now it's gonna bother me what that was called, or which I think it's this one. No, these were from. It's this one. The warp orb, and it's engineering. It's engineering. This is the one that shows up in the abundance. Love it. All right, so go back in here. Go back and take a peek at the photo we took. What did I just do with that? This is what I get for looking away from the screen and placing things. I placed it somewhere and have no idea where. What's it called? Alder. No, I didn't place it? Did I hit escape? Oh no, I hit F3. That's where it went. Yes, it went back. Oop. All right. So remember, this is vaguely circular, round-ish. Like it's still meant to be kind of a natural, right? So it's not perfectly symmetrical. But yeah, I think that one works. And again, a lot easier to hide that. Like we can hide those books easy peasy. Yes, finally a use for them, indeed. I think the easy part of this is going to be to put that on this side and then figure out how I'm going to bridge these. And that might be where some of the other pieces come in too. Because I want a smoother edge up here. I don't know if I'll be able to do it with another one of these. We'll try it though. Boy, I really hate where they're putting anchors now on these. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need more. But, oh, that looks nice. I think think I want to bring that forward just a wee bit. Just to cover the pointy bits up here, and then we can add some foliage, right? That'll cover all kinds of sins. So yeah, we definitely need at least one more of those. Where are those from? It's, thank you. Alder. Oh, it's crafted. It's inscription. All right, so I need at least one more. So I'm going back to the reference picture. Yeah, we definitely have some greens along the side, so we can cover some of this, and then add one more in there, and we'll have that a nice curve. So then the next thing we have to do is get our split in the floor. And I think I want to start with the boulders for this work, because I think that's gonna be our best bet for getting the shapes that we want. Because once again, we have circular shapes happening here. So let's. That was not the one I wanted. Let's reset. All right. Actually, I'm gonna move this one down here toward the entrance, because that flatness going up toward the round part will be good. And then we can use the rounder. Ooh, too much. Too much. Hard. Then we can use the rounder boulders to make that roundness, right? So we want a slight incline here. So you can see the incline, so that when we put in the one that goes down, we have that feeling of going down a little bit. This could even go a little bit more on the incline and come up to meet the edge of that elevated floor. Right? That allows us to create that illusion that we're going up, right? And that cave was pretty tight up in there, so we don't, like, this is a good height. We don't need that double story room to make this happen. We have ads coming here shortly. This is more ads than I expected in it. Oh my god, it's already 7:30. It's already been an hour. I guess this is right. See you in a little bit. All right, welcome back from the ads. I just realized I have no hostas. I was looking at again at the Haranir colors, right? They use this really vibrant red, so I thought those would be a nice foliage. Yes, the middle peaks do look like the thorns. Yes. Yep. I think it'll be nice once we get them put together. I actually like the way this is coming along with the jaggedness. Makes it look a little more natural. All right, so while you were gone for ad break, I did add my boulders to my quick place here. One of the things that I always try to do when I'm working with like natural items is to rotate them in different directions. So here I have this textured part of the flat boulder coming up this way. This one I turned it the other way so that it doesn't feel like same, right? I'm gonna push this down a little bit and then we're going to rotate. So remember, we want this to feel like you're going downward. That is probably too much downward. But that's more like it. So now we have distinct up and down, right? It does not take much. What was that, like 10 degrees? Not much, but it will be enough that as we go up, we will be able to create that like peekaboo space that looks down here. It does mean that on this lower level, we're going to have to keep stuff like sunk in as much as we can. But that will allow us to get those two levels without needing a double floor room. And again, we don't care that this isn't perfect because it doesn't need to be. What we do want to make sure of is that there's no like gaps, right? So as long as there's no gap where you're seeing this like Faco flagstone, then we're good. It does not have to be perfectly on point. And like I will likely change out the platforms here as well once we get later into the build to give it a more natural look. But this was to know like how much I could build up. So that'll be our measuring stick for where our boulders go in this room. So now we know we need to go up, right? Around this pillar. I'm gonna I'm looking at the entrance again. It has has a little bit of a swing this way. And then I'm gonna pull that up. All right, once again, don't want same, so I'm just going to turn this so we get a different view. And then I'm going to rotate this bad boy even more because we want that curvature. I'm going to use one of these. I think I'm going to use it over here though. Do I have collision on? No, I don't. This is just a vagary of how these work. All right. Yep. Move this down. we are going to, so we need it to come into the curve here and go upward. Right? So let's push it in this way. So we're still moving upward, right? This is going to work really well, actually, I think. We're going to need to fill in a little bit down here, but that's fine. We can do that. I only have one more of those. Let's up. Oi, here. One bigger. Push it way up. So now I'm creating that curve here. So if I stand back here, we're going to start seeing curvature while still having that like natural rock. There. Now, these are much smoother in the example, but we've got what we've got to work with here without going broke. And these boulders will be expensive enough without adding to it. I am already running out of boulders because I used a lot of them in other builds. So I actually don't have that many in my inventory. I'm gonna make this one quite a bit bigger because now we're starting to get into that flat space, right? I want it to be slightly taller. I think it can come up at slightly more of an angle because we still have a little bit of room up here. I mean, plenty enough room for a dwarf. Too much. Too much. Just a wee bit. Right, now if we look at it over here, now we're getting some height off the floor. So when we create that cut in, it will still be like something you can look down into. Might even go up a little bit higher and give it slightly more tilt. 7 degrees. Yep, I think that's it. Do you have a layout made somewhere to reference while you're building? Yes, I do. I'm using the screenshot that we took. Let me go over here. It's this one. So let me open image, a new tab. So this is a screenshot from in-game, right? And so this is the split here. So you go in and up and in and down, and then up behind there is, so this is the downstairs looking up, and then this is the upstairs looking down. Yeah. So the one that I'm referencing right now is this one to understand what I want these shapes to look like. So yeah, you can kind of see how it's starting to get there. Again, would I like to smooth it out? Yes, I think we're going to do it with plants mostly. We'll see. I'm going to need a lot more boulders. This I know. And I'm looking at this space and wondering if I actually need this bigger room now. I might be okay with a medium-sized room. Let's block this out real quick. So this is another thing that I often do is go back and just use stuff that I have, regardless of how appropriate or not it is for the space, just to get a feel for what it will look like and whether the space is the right size and shape. So, is that enough height? Not quite. We want it a little bit taller than that. It sucks that you can't change the room size and keep the stuff. Yes, yeah. Which is why blocking it out is a good idea with just basic pieces before you go in and do detail work. All right, I'm gonna go back to my reference screenshots here. So, kind of comes up this way, and then like there's a little. Actually, that's perfect. It has like the little dip which comes up, and then there's kind of a lip that looks down then into the neck to the other side. So let's make. Wait. All right. This to go this way. So the other thing, if you do have a room that's larger than you need it to be, is you can just wall off what you don't need. In this case, because I'm using the boulders, I can just use the boulders to create the wall that I want. Right, so here's where I want that hole to be, right down in here. So if I don't need that much room, I can just go out here, blow that up, rotate it. Hello, wall. Right? You can bring that in as much or as little as you need to get it where you want it. Cut off as much of the room as you want. Right? In this case, like downstairs, right, I'll want to continue this across, so I'll probably continue it out this way. So I'll probably lose a little bit of space up in here, but I won't have to change the size of the room. But you can start to see now, and I only have one boulder left, like what the vision is here, right? We just need to make sure we've got enough headroom, which we do. Excellent. So yeah, that's about the height we need for this level. I could still bring this up some and be okay. That can stay where it is because it doesn't need to come up anymore. In fact, I can rotate this even a wee bit more now that we have this back here. And in the screenshot, right, it kind of flattens out and then comes up and over. So I can grab another one of these over here to create that side of the wall. But now I'm out of boulders, so let's go get some more. Yes, I know I could have used exit house, but I didn't. Also, I note today that Bree was here well before Boots. Just want to say that out loud. Oh, it's Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and so with the reset, we will get the reset on coupons. So, being a good neighbor will net us many more coupons tomorrow than today. Which won't stop me from grabbing these while I'm here. Look at this mess. Who did this? We're gonna go up here and see the plant guy. He has the boulders. What? Oh, it's a shiny kitty. It needs love. Oh. Alright. This guy here has our plants.
What can I do for you?
We need boulders, good sir. There's cobblestones. Here's the boulders. Alright. So I don't use as many of the hilltop boulders. So I'm gonna get like 5 of these. I hope like we might need some for the roof, but I think we're gonna need a lot more of the round top and the flat because they are a lot smoother than the hilltop, and these are quite smooth spaces. So I'm gonna grab like 10 of those. And this is why buy 'em more is the best. Buy 'em all, not buy 'em more. Buy 'em all. I'm gonna say the same for these actually. All right.
See you around.
We'll see how that does in our little housey. Oh, I was too close to the steward when I mounted. Thought I got far enough away from her. All right. Secret hiding place reset when we left the house. Okay. So again, I am just blocking out. I can do fine tuning later. Block it out first so that your shapes are there. Then you can incrementally move things. So I know that I want this to be my back wall. So I'm going to continue out from there. Let me think about this. I'm taking a look back at my screenshot. This time I'm looking down at the bottom of the ramp. There's some roots back in here, some plants. Still pretty smooth back here. So we're gonna use another one of these. We're gonna rotate that again before we blow it up. And then on it. Yeah, I'm gonna use this side, I think. I think that's pretty close. I'm going to use one of the flats to come around just to give it a little variety in the types of shapes we're seeing. I love when it does that. How much do I love when it does that? So again, I'm just checking that we're coming around this curve the way I want. It's doing what I expect. Right, here's our hole. So, we know that we're coming down here. And we know that this like tunnel is pretty tight. So I don't think I want this going out a ton farther toward the wall. I think I want it curving back around this way now. Let's do that. I'm gonna grab one of these. Just coming back to get a little perspective on where this is at. And I left it laying down because I kind of like it that way right now. I think that's actually going to give me the shape that I want here. I can go in later and add another one. Again, we're just blocking here. Right. You can also vary the scaling of these to get the different shapes when you start lining things up. Right, now we want to start coming back toward where our entrance is here. We're going to start pulling this in a little bit. I want to tip it back just slightly. That's not the one I want. This is the one I want. And bring it toward the entrance. Right, we're starting to see this come together. Let's pull another one of those out. I'm gonna turn it this way. I'm gonna scale this one all the way up because this is coming right back around now. I'm pretty sure we can get there. Oh, very close. Very close. So the question is, how narrow do I want this to be? And I think that's about right. Because then this has to branch over, right, to make that roundness. So now we're gonna add one of these. We can start to cover up the book part of the alder bookcases. So I don't know if you saw this was cutting through this wall. So I just moved it over a little so that it would not do that. Now I want to connect them up here. So now I can rotate a little until I get them kind of lined up in that arch that I want. We'll be able to better like make that more visible with lighting later. So keep in mind this is all very same right now. We'll be able to use plants and lighting to create the contrast we need to make that look more natural and defined. So yeah, there's our blocking going in. I need to connect across here so that we close in that circle up top. I'm just going to grab another one of these hilltop boulders. It's very good music, I have to say. I'm going to give that a rotate. Let's see where I want. Oh, we're already heading back into ads again. Goodness. All right. Time flies when you're having fun, man. Might want that to go up even more. Let's go upstairs and see how it looks from here. Yeah, so we got to bring this all the way around here. So that our circle is a little more closed off on top. All right, when you go to ads, I am going to continue building around the circle into the ceiling. Oh, welcome back. I am working on this circular area here to see what I want it to do. So I thought this would work, but I am not loving it. So I'm gonna push it back actually, since I still need coverage back here, and I'm gonna rotate it. I need to bring this around still, so I'm gonna use one of the flats again. I just think that's gonna work really well for this area where I need a kind of flat space. All right, so now we're starting to see how we can see down into here. And what we need is for this to come up and over. So we're gonna plop one of these bad boys in here. Start filling in around the top. I may eventually need to add some flats to the ceiling. The Belemeth wood does work all right, especially when you look at the references, but because we're using the boulders, which are a lot rougher than the wood of the references, we may need to make a matchy match. And only we know the references, so we'll tell people what the references are so they get a feel for it, but you don't have to make exact matches here. All right. One of these guys over. I am literally standing inside that. All right, there we go. That's not the one I wanted. There we go. So when you come in to the space upstairs, yeah, show you. Right, so it has this kind of flare up from the way up, and then it comes across and over, and your hole is up here where the plant life is coming down. So we can definitely do something with the roots and the plant life here. You can see how smooth this is compared to ours. That's the only thing that I wish. And I could do this. I could use mostly the flats and make it a lot smoother if I wanted to. Lots of loam soil, yes. There are ways to flatten this bad boy out for sure. Right, so about here is where I want that flare out to be. So then you can see it coming across and over. Now, this, I'm gonna go about here. Thought I heard thunder for a second there. I think it was just traffic. Much. Right, so if I'm coming from down here, I get the flare up and then it goes around. I think that's pretty close to where I want that. I do want it to be a bit more closely aligned. There we go, to these boulders. so that as I come down the way, it remains nice and smooth. Yep, there we go. And we just fill the hole in. Right, so now we're starting to see this come together. And there's our hole. So now if we're down here, again, this is a cave, so it feels very close. But then you get here and you get the look up. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to want to smooth this out, because this is going to need to flare around. And I don't love the hilltops for that. They're just not smooth enough. Let's pull those out. Grab one of these. Yeah, I think that's closer to what I want here. Looking back to my reference, because it was a little skewed toward one side, so I just want to make sure I'm skewing the right way here. And then these, now we can use these to come up across here. So we can, it's all right for those to come through up here, I think. What I don't want is it coming through too much. But a little bit is okay, I think. Feels a little too close in, so I'm just going to shrink it down a wee bit. And then we'll use one of these to finish that curve on this side. Right, so we have a roughly ovoid structure here now. And then we can build across this way to get the other oval. Just checking to see if that's cutting through or not. It is not yet. If we move it this way, does it clip? No. Excellent. Thankfully, there's nothing above this, so we don't care if it clips through the ceiling. I think I want this to hide more of this, but I may need to bring in a couple other pieces to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna need to, because now that is clipping through. Let's push that back up. Might just be the wrong shape boulder for this. I think that's all right. And then we just have to finish closing this off. Our pillar can come out now. Now that we've established where this split is. And then we'll build down through here and finish off the walls and the ceiling. And then tomorrow, we'll start filling in some of the detail work. So I'll finish blocking tonight. And then tomorrow we will do the more fun part, which is figuring out what Haranir stuff we have and how we want to put it all together. I'm also going to make another altar bookcase. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your patience with the ads. I know it's annoying. But let me know if the cadence feels okay. Like I have some control over whether it's like 3 minutes once an hour or, you know, a minute and a half every half hour. So if you like one over the other, please let me know. We can fix that. I will continue to build this out in the meantime. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll see how far we've got. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you. Have a lovely night, and talk to you tomorrow.